These are my top 50 best gaming laptop tips in under 10 minutes. Tip number 1. Connect the charger when playing games. FPS will be higher compared to running on battery, which leads us straight into tip number 2. Avoid unnecessary battery recharge and discharge cycles. If you've got the charger, just plug it in, otherwise you're degrading the battery faster. My third tip is to limit the maximum charge level of the battery. Many laptops let you cap it to 80%, because leaving a battery at 100% for an extended period of time is bad for the battery. Tip 4 is to keep track of the screws when opening your laptop. The last thing you want to do is put a long screw in a short hole. Oh yeah! But seriously, it's an easy way to break things. And then tip number 5, when putting the screws back in, don't over tighten them. I go to about 90% max tightness on the bottom panel of the laptop, and only go for maximum tightness on the cooler, as you want proper contact between the cooler and CPU and GPU. With tip 6, you can easily improve the cooling of your gaming laptop by raising the back up, either with a stand or in a pinch. I just put the charger under it, as this lets more air get in underneath. Tip 7 is don't block those vents underneath. So no gaming with the laptop sitting on your bed or some other soft material, as that prevents airflow, which results in overheating, worse performance, and possibly even hardware failure. Eventually, your laptop will get dusty, so tip 8 is to clean it, as dust makes it harder for air to get in and for heat to get removed. Cleaning once every 6 to 12 months is plenty, but depends on how much you use the laptop and your environment. Tip 9 is to use a bag with a dedicated laptop compartment. It's easy to damage your expensive device by transporting it in a bag with no laptop section. Tip 10 is to use all available RAM slots. For DDR4, 2 sticks of memory enables dual channel, and for DDR5, 2 sticks of memory enables quad channel. Long story short, this gives you better performance and more FPS in games. Tip 11 is to save money when buying your next gaming laptop by using our gaminglaptop.deals website. The link is below. We update it daily so you can find the best sales. Tip 12 sounds obvious, but don't eat over your laptop. It's easy for crumbs to get in the keyboard, which is kinda gross, and just not good for it. The same goes for drinking. Keep liquids away from electronics for obvious reasons. Tip 13 is don't be too rough with your laptop. Treat it with respect, and it should last for many years. Tip 14 is to check the port layout before buying. Some laptops have most of their ports on the left. Great if you're a right-handed mouse user, but a nightmare if you're a lefty. Tip 15 is to check that the laptop actually has all the ports you need. Do you need an SD card slot, or Ethernet, or Thunderbolt? Different laptops have different ports, so check. Tip 16 is to take advantage of Type-C charging, if your laptop supports it. Type-C charge doesn't provide as much power compared to the regular charger, but it's enough for light non-gaming use. If you mostly use your laptop in one spot, then tip 17 is to get a nice dock. This lets you connect a much better keyboard, mouse, and monitor at your desk. Then all you have to do is plug one cable into the laptop, and you've got a full desktop experience ready to go. Tip 18 is to invest in a good set of headphones. They don't have to be expensive, but they'll sound way better compared to most laptops, especially once the fans are running. Tip 19 is to increase your battery life by lowering the screen brightness, turning the screen's refresh rate down to 60 Hz, turning off RGB lighting, using Optimus, so integrated graphics, and customizing the power settings in Windows. Tip 20 is to understand that battery life doesn't depend just on the size of the battery. Generally, a bigger battery means better battery life, but I've found that laptops with AMD processors tend to last longer compared to Intel ones. That's not always the case, but it's definitely a trend I've noticed after reviewing 200 plus gaming laptops. That leads me to the 21st tip. Every gaming laptop is completely different. There are so many different factors to consider, from performance, size and weight, battery life, keyboard, touchpad, thermals, and many more. So tip 21 is to check out reviews before buying. We do some of the most in-depth gaming laptop reviews around, so you're welcome to subscribe, but check multiple sources to get well-rounded opinions and information. You can get an FPS boost in games with tip 22, which is disabling core isolation in Windows. This is a security feature, but honestly, unless you're being targeted by the NSA or downloading dodgy stuff, you can probably turn it off and get the performance boost. Tip 23 is to use Advanced Optimus if you've got it. Not all gaming laptops have this feature, but it is pretty common now. This automatically increases FPS in games. You don't have to reboot with a muck switch manually anymore. My 24th tip is to remove the antivirus software and any other bloatware that came installed on the laptop. Honestly, Windows Defender is a good enough default for most people these days, and AV software slows things down while constantly constantly pestering you to become a paying subscriber. Tip 25 is to avoid using a hard drive unless you like extreme pain. Some laptops still have 2.5-inch drive bays, so if you want to add more space, get an SSD. They're cheap these days, and the speed is way faster. Tip 26 is to adjust the performance mode of your laptop. In many cases, you can lower the fan noise of your laptop without losing that much performance. Tip 27 is to limit the maximum frame rate in games. By default, the CPU and GPU pump out the maximum FPS possible, which is great for performance, but it increases heat and fan noise. Tip 28 is to customize settings in games. Finding your own balance between performance and visuals is often better than using the built-in setting presets. Tip 29 is to use upscaling. XeSS, FSR, or DLSS are in most games, and turning these on is a great way to quickly boost performance, and in some cases, even improve image quality. Tip 30 is to disable unimportant apps from starting up on boot. This improves how long it takes for your laptop to be ready after turning on. Tip 31 is to avoid external GPUs with Thunderbolt, at least with Thunderbolt 3 and 4. These sound like a great way to boost FPS by connecting a more powerful desktop graphics card, but until Thunderbolt 5 is widely available, there's just not enough bandwidth for it to be a good experience. Tip 32 is to install the latest updates. This includes BIOS, Windows updates, and especially graphics drivers. In most cases, updates will give you improved performance or stability. New graphics drivers in particular have optimizations for the latest games, so that you get the best performance. Tip 33 is to try a fresh Windows installation if your laptop isn't working as well as it used to. Starting from a clean slate removes all the random junk that's built up over time. It's a great way to make old hardware feel new without spending more money. Tip 34 is to try undervolting your GPU. Chances are you can tell it to use less power while performing about the same, resulting in lower temperatures and potentially better performance. Tip 35 is that while 16 gigs of RAM is generally enough for most games, some games are starting to demand more, so consider upgrading to 32 gigs of RAM. We all know tip 36, and that's to set the RGB lighting on your laptop to red, because red goes faster, which means more FPS. Okay, I just wanted to see if you're still paying attention. But seriously, you should spend a moment customizing your laptop to get it looking nice. You might as well have the thing you use every day look good, and that includes simple things like enabling dark mode and setting a custom wallpaper. Tip 37 is that you don't have to buy a new gaming laptop every generation. A good mid-range gaming laptop should last you from 3 to 5 years, if you treat it well. Only buy new when what you have no longer does what you need. And when that time does come, you can make the most of our gaminglaptop.deals website. Tip 38 is high-end GPUs are kind of overkill for lower resolutions. If you're looking at something like RTX 4080 graphics, then definitely consider a 1440p resolution. Otherwise, you're just not putting all that GPU power to use. It's a bit of a waste at 1080p. Tip 39 is to not spend more on a high-resolution screen. More pixels need more GPU power to run, so getting 4K on that small 13-inch screen with an RTX 3050 might not be the move. You'd have to run it at 1080p anyway for decent frame rates. You can get the most from your screen with tip 40. Calibrate your screen. This does need a physical calibration tool that isn't worth buying unless you're a professional content creator. But in many cases, you can download an ICC profile for your panel model and get more accurate colors. But without tip 41, your screen is never going to look good. And that's to buy a good screen in the first place, because it's what you're going to be looking at all the time. You want at least a brightness of 300 nits. Higher is better. Minimum 120Hz refresh rate, less than 10 milliseconds response time, and 90% plus sRGB coverage for gamers. Tip 42 is to know what upgrades the laptop you're buying supports. It's good to know if you've got an upgrade path and what your future options are. Tip 43 is to buy with the GPU in mind first, then the CPU. In most cases, RAM and storage can be upgraded later, but you can never change the CPU and GPU in pretty much all laptops, and the GPU makes the most difference when gaming. Tip 44 is before spending your hard-earned cash, see if you can try out a gaming laptop in a store. Things like how a keyboard and touchpad feel are so personal. Tip 45 is to change the thermal paste on the CPU and GPU. Many laptops use cheap thermal paste at the factory to cut costs, so replacing it with a higher quality paste may improve thermals and performance. Tip 46, don't overspend on a gaming laptop. Set a budget and stick to it. The deals on our gaminglaptop.deals site can help you, but remember, diminishing returns are at play the higher the price goes up. You start spending more to get less benefit. Buying used is a great way to save money. Tip 47, the best time of the year to buy a new gaming laptop is Black Friday, and the couple of weeks before it. The second best time is around July during back to school. Tip 48 is that new gaming laptop hardware gets announced at CES in January. I'll be heading over there next month to check out all the new RTX 50 gaming laptops, so make sure that you're subscribed for that. Tip 49 is that overclocking the GPU isn't really worth it. In most cases, you only get a small FPS boost in games. It's not really worth the time dialing it in and getting things stable, unless you're an enthusiast who loves messing with this stuff. My 50th tip is to buy the right-sized gaming laptop for you. Sounds simple, but my first laptop was way too big and heavy. I regretted taking it to school every day. Now, a bigger screen is objectively better when playing games. You can fit more features into a bigger laptop. But don't forget, laptops are meant to be portable too. Find a balance. 16 inches is a great sweet spot. And those are my 50 tips. If you're looking to buy a new gaming laptop, then check out the top 5 best gaming laptops of the year over here next.